I see the results. The more that we talk on storytelling in today's event, the more that we begin to explore other reasons.
Alas, you and I know, Obehi, that storytelling is not about me. It's not about it's not about us, the business. It's about the audience who are listening to you. What are they going to engage with? What can I tell them that's going to at least pique their interest?
Obehi was sharing about how he listened to a story that just touched his heart. We work with stories on a daily basis, so we know exactly what we're talking about.
Hi, I'm Obehi Ewanfoh, the author of the storytelling series for small businesses and content creators. In Obehi Podcast, we talk about the power of your story, your narrative, and why you should own your voice. Whether you are a small business owner, a content entrepreneur, or you simply want to build your influence, storytelling is probably going to be your best instrument to connect with your audience. So join the awakened few who are owning their voices. Now let's get started with today's episode.
Getting in front of a camera, it's powerful. When you hear some of the journeys that some of the speakers have been through, being human trafficked, and then what does this person do now? This is at the age of 4. He now is a certified DV advocate, but he's also a coach helping people through trauma. So your stories can propel you into the business that you are in right now. Stories are powerful. And this is the goal of the platform, to inspire others through their journey, because you never know who's at the other end of the lens, listening in, watching. So I hope that answers your question. It's not about men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
It answers my question beautifully. At least I feel less guilty. I feel less ignorant. Because I've never known what the end was. I was like, why don't I ever read the end? So now I know why. There is no end.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
I've been to your events, your rooms, and your speakers always tell powerful stories. I'd say that's for sure. If you don't know what we're talking about, my friend, connect with Carol. Go and check out our events and see what you can learn from other people. Maybe you can go get to speak one day and inspire people yourself with your story. That's good. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, let me do a couple more mentions over here, then I'll give you the mic, my friend, and let's get going because our time it's always short. So Montelisi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Then you suddenly disappeared off my screen. No, you're there, still there. Christine, I see you. Timothy, thanks for joining us, my friend. We were talking this morning. Sydney, Alison, Ikram, Kofi, Frank, welcome all of you. Francesco, I don't know which one. And LinkedIn doesn't show me the whole thing. Rain, Kate, Gloria, Andre, how you doing, my friend? It's where I was born in Woolwich. So I'm looking at your profile, so I don't know where that is. There's Adam as well. Follow you, Adam. Ezine, how you doing? Prince Will, Beatrice, Brian. See, Brian has an amazing audio room. Connect with him to find out what he talks about in his room. So Ella, Mary, Fabian, Dorothy, David, Stephen, welcome all of you. So we appreciate you being here. So Ardianto, my screen just moved. Diora, Curtis, Rupesh, Tululupe, Tululupe. I don't know which one. I'll soon find out, I'm sure. Stranger, Kotessa, Shangroff, Janet, Heidi, Success, Victor, Younger Lelwe. Yeah, I'll learn one day, my friend. Samuel, I see you too. The amazing Lisa Drew's here as well. She does loads of events. The amazing people in the audience, look, take your chance, connect with people, make some friends. You never know who you're going to connect to, so want to speak to afterwards. So there are many people here doing amazing things. Abby, I see you too. Rick, I see you as well, my friend. Welcome, all of you. So I'm going to talk storytelling. I'm going to pass the mic to my host, to our wonderful host and author. So that way you can share, let's introduce ourselves, and then we're going to pass the mic to you to come tell your stories about how you use stories as much as why others don't tell stories. Obehi, I give you the mic, my friend.
Thank you so much for that, Denny. I appreciate what you're doing. And also, I appreciate all of you that are joining us today. It's always interesting to talk about our story, talking about how to own our voice. But of course, today's conversation is an important one because we are asking the question, what you don't understand about the power of storytelling. Because if you understand it enough, then you should be singing your song all the time. You should be using it in wherever you are communicating with people, which of course, in this case, we are looking at businesses, how to use storytelling in business. Because then you will understand that storytelling is an incredible power and a universal tool to convey information. It helps us to express emotion, to express our experiences. And of course, it has been an integral part of the human culture for thousands of years. It has played a crucial role in communication, and it helps us to shape our understanding of the world around us. Storytelling helps us to do all this, and of course, a lot more. Now, I have three fundamental points I think people need to understand about the power of storytelling. Number one is actually what they don't understand, because if they do, they should have been leveraging story the more. Number one is not knowing the purpose of their story. Now, understanding the purpose of a story is crucial because, especially if you are a beginner storyteller, it is important that you know the purpose of your story. Is your story meant to entertain the people? Are you educating them? Do you want to persuade your listener to take certain action? Being able to identify the purpose of your story, of course, will help you to better grasp the message you want to convey and the impact you want to achieve at the end of the day, which is why you are telling your story. Number two, I think, is not knowing the importance of the intended audience. Because now you know the story you want to tell, but who are you telling your story to? This is fundamentally important because it's going to condition how you tell your story. Stories are usually tailored for specific audience because, of course, here you would understand, because I've said it often here, we are not actually talking of cock and bull story. We are talking of a guided story, a story that is aimed for a specific purpose. That is what separates business story from any other type of story. That is why we need to learn it, because it's not just a question of just talking for the sake of talking. It's talking in a way to be able to connect with the audience for a specific objective. So you are not going to be wasting your time. For that reason, you need to know your audience. Know who you are targeting with your message. What is the cultural context? What kind of preamble are you going to make sense to them? Because not everything is going to make sense to everybody. And your story, of course, is not going to be just for everybody. You must know who you are targeting, what is relevant for them, and what is going to make sense to them. Now, number three is, or one of the things that people don't understand about storytelling is not understanding how story evokes emotion. And this is really fundamental, because if you understand that the story you tell can move people. Just now, Carol was sharing something, a very brief story. I was already getting sort of emotional about what she was talking about. That is really powerful. She haven't really started yet, no? That is the power of emotion. And there is deep psychological understanding and scientific study about how story affect the emotional composition of the people. If you understand that, it means that when you go to tell story, you know what type of element you can put in it to trigger the responses of the people. Because all of us are the same as human beings in general, something that can make you laugh can also make another person laugh. So do you know what makes you laugh? If you know what makes you laugh, do you know the kind of audience you are targeting? Because if you know, and you know that the emotion you are triggering is going to lead to an action or reaction, all you need to do then from that point forward is to leverage it for the specific objective of why you are telling your story. So these are just three things I think people don't understand about storytelling. But of course, as we move on, we will talk more about what are the things that we need to do in order to better leverage storytelling.
It's always great to be in this room. It's always a big room, and so to talk about a very important topic. So I'm Ennie, and I run a marketing agency. So we commit to make our clients famous. That way, they sell more. People buy from people who are famous, people they know, like, and trust. So whilst I want to put you on TV and radio, of course I do, because that's where you get real fame there. Now, failing that, I will tend to start with digital to make you famous online. How do we do that? We'll do that what I call the Get Fame and Leads package, which essentially is 3 services. So it boils down to email marketing to thousands of people in your target audience every month. And then also we'll do ads to put you in front of people who are looking for you online. And then we'll also organize, plan, then co-host these audio rooms. So literally, if you have a story to tell, first thing I say to anyone who comes to me and wants to build an audience and sell more is, let's do an audio room. Which is why an amazing person like Obehi, who's written several books, when he came to me, I'm like, let's do an audio room over here. And here we are. My friends on stage as well, and Hannah and Abimbola, again, they've got unique perspectives. And Hannah hosted an audio room with me last week. There's more that we're going to do together. Abimbola, I've been to your audio rooms, so audio room is part of what we do. Last thing I want to mention is it's about one way to get real fame, which I just alluded to, is to write a book. Obehi has written several books on storytelling. He has an expertise on the topic, which I think the world needs to know and learn from. So if you want help to write your book, to package your knowledge so others can learn from you, and you got this thing you can wave around that opens doors for you, called a book. Once you're an author, suddenly you're an expert. That's the reality of the world we live in. So if you want to write your book, package your knowledge, then let's talk. I have a team of writers, proofreaders, editors, and publishers that can get your book out there. My part in the book process is to market your book for you. If you've written a book and it's just sitting on Amazon or on a bookshelf at home doing nothing, let's talk. No one can benefit from it unless they actually read your book. And you can't generate the revenue from your book and the fame and all the benefits that come from being an author unless you actually sell that book. So that's a bit about what I do. So when it comes to why don't more people use storytelling, I guess that's my way of framing the topic. Why don't more people understand the power of storytelling? Over here, I think people understand the power of storytelling. Maybe not. Right? I think most understand. But I think many, like I think you alluded to the fact, which is a lot of people they're not strong in their belief about the story. Whether it's not shyness. I think in business, I tend to find lots of people are not confident. They're not clear about the things you've mentioned. They're not clear about their goals. They're not clear about the people to serve. They're not clear about almost what makes them special. And I think when you have that clarity, you tend to speak up. I'm looking on stage. I see Carol. I see Izu on stage. Literally, these are people who are confident about what they do and what they believe. They believe in their approach. They know that what they do helps people. So they'll happily stand up every day and tell people about exactly what it is they do that helps people. I think when you're not sure about what I call the value you give, then almost like you don't try and find ways to paint a picture that stories give you. When you're truly passionate about what you're doing, when you're truly committed to your cause, to your approach, then it's most natural to want the world to hear you, the world to know about it. People can't buy what they don't know about. But unless you tell them, then they're not gonna, they're never gonna know. So when it comes to using stories, maybe it's partly lack of experience with many people. But where a lot of people want experience. They want great success stories. They want they want amazing stories. They want, stories of them being the hero, the winners, the great people that they possibly are. Alas, you and I know over here that storytelling is not about me. It's not about, it's not about us, the business. It's about the audience who are listening to you. What are they going to engage with? Now, what can I tell them that's going to at least pique their interest? And actually open their ears to actually listen to me. If you mentioned earlier, it's about listen to emotions from your listeners. People buy because you make them feel something. What would tell them in terms of the factual side of our business, our services? It helps, of course, it helps, but it's not the end of the night. That's not going to make someone jump through hoops and get the card out of the pocket to pay you. If you can get them to emotionally resonate with what you do, if you can get them to believe that what you do can really make a difference in their lives, they tend to buy. Think how many things we buy every day that we don't really even need. We buy because we've seen a great advert, we've seen a great marketing message that tells a story. If you can make people feel an emotion about what you do, more will buy. So my last point is simply this. As businesses, as professionals, we need to learn how to tell our story. That doesn't mean we just tell one story, we tell several stories. So Obehi's book is one great way to learn the components of storytelling. What makes a great story? What are the parts I need to think about? How do I create a catalog of stories I can tell in the right context, in the right examples, and in the right events? These are things that we can all learn, and then once we learn them, the more we practice them, the more we use them, the more we tell the stories, the more it becomes second nature. That's me, Obehi. I could talk all day, but I'll let my other speak. So, thank you for
You're
letting me
welcome.
speak, my friend.
Thank you so much for that, Eddie. That is really important. And I like the last point that you are going to learn how to continue to practice, because even those who you might see as experts in being able to deliver their message, you look at them and say, wow, how did they get to that point? Where they get there at one step by one step at a time. Nobody was born with the expertise. Nobody was born with the ability to be able to really deliver that communication. Maybe that is 1% out of 1 million people, but majority of the people have to learn it. So yes, we can learn it, all of us.
Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you, Obehi. Sorry. Annie's conversation was such an important one, and his share was so lovely. Maybe that's why I have his name in my head. But I wanted to say thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, everyone who's in the listening lounge. I appreciate you all for being here. My name is Hannah Dachaba, and I am a branding professional. Honestly, a big part of what I do is highly reliant on storytelling. I say that I wouldn't be successful in my role if I didn't apply storytelling to it. So that's how important, as I said, that storytelling is to my line of business. When I first saw this topic today, I was like, okay, I'm going to write exactly what comes to mind. And the first thing that came to my mind was what could possibly be the root cause as to why people do not understand the power of storytelling. And for me, the major reason that came to mind was the fact that people fail to understand the power of storytelling because a majority of us have lost touch with our inner child. And I have to say, it's not our fault. We exist in a world that slowly stifles our ability to dream. And, as children, it was cool to be imaginative. It was cool to dream. It was cool to be expressive. We could dream. We could just stay and imagine a lot of stuff, doodle them, draw them, tell it to our friends. But the moment that we began to grow up, we began to lose touch of our inner children. And we will hear stuff like mature up, grow up, for the men, man up. And these were the signs that we were losing touch with our ability to dream. And the moment that we've lost touch with that aspect of ourselves, that was the moment that we began to lose our understanding of the power of storytelling. That was when we began to succumb to being put in a box. From a personal standpoint, the moment that I went on a personal mission to connect myself to my inner child, to go back to how I was, I see the results. The more that we talk on storytelling in today's event, the more that we begin to explore other reasons. But another thing that I also would like to say is, please listen to everyone here up on stage. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. And if you follow us, you can see that we share, stories on a daily basis. We share on the importance of storytelling on a daily basis because we are firsthand in the line of action. We deal with stories. We see stories. We experience stories. Obehi was sharing about how he listened to a story that just touched his heart. We work with stories on a daily basis, so we know exactly what we're talking about. I know that my co-hosts have so much more to say, and I'm all ears. I'm so keen to hear what everybody else has to share. But from my end, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me, Obehi, Eni, and Bimbo, and cheers to more events. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. I appreciate that. All right, it's time for Abibola. Abibola, yeah, share something with the audience. We are all here.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you might be listening from. My name is Abiola Kolani. I'm a content writer and I'm a storyteller. If you need visibility for your business, because definitely everyone needs visibility. You can't have a business and expect sales without people knowing who you are. So you can reach out to me. I make use of high quality content to give you the visibility you need and to get you the right audience for your business. So every other person has really spoken about storytelling. Yes, storytelling is a I wouldn't say it's the one of the most. I believe it is the most powerful tool. And let me come to Carol. I attended her event the last time, and really, it was really insightful. You could hear people share the stories of their beginning, while they were young, what they went through, and how that has made them to become who they are, and they're using that their experience to now help people in that line of that are going to solve a particular problem. It was really touching. That's how stories can help. You can use your stories to, like Obehi said, you have to have a purpose. Why are you sharing your stories? Do you want to inspire? Do you want to motivate someone? Do you want to use it to make people take action? You want to show them that you have the solution to that problem. Because honestly, when I listen to those people that shared on Carol's show, it was really, you know that these people have gone through this. Are they've gone through this particular situation. So they can really, really help you if you're going through such a situation. That's one of the ways storytelling helps as a business. So I believe every business should make use of storytelling because it's the most. I don't want to use one of the most. It is the most. As a content creator, when you make use of stories, you are able to convey your message effectively. You're you're able to connect to the audience emotionally and get them to take the needed action. So that is one of the essence of storytelling. Thank you so much. I'll use the mic back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abimbola. I think your sound was a little bit disturbed. You are going to look for a way to sort that so at least we can hear you clearly. All right, that has been said. Now, usually we are in the better part of the conversation where we usually do Q&A, where we have question and answer sort of, or where we identify points that we can share our idea on. And I can see that there are two guests with us on the stage. But before they start talking, I just want to say that these 3 points are what is probably going to guide our conversation today, so that when we are talking, let's pay attention to them. Number one, what do you wish you would have known before now about storytelling? Number two, What area should small businesses improve for more effectiveness in their storytelling? Number 3, how would you develop your storytelling strategy for your small business? These questions are going to help our target audience, small business owner who want to use storytelling for their businesses. All right, Izu, it's an honor to have you here. Would you like to say anything about those 3 points or anything different from that but relating to the topic of today? Please go ahead.
Can you hear me, Mr. Obehi, and all the beautiful people on the stage and in the audience? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you, bro. Go on.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, this is what I wanted to say in addition to what has been said already concerning storytelling. If I had known this thing about storytelling 6 years ago, I would have approached storytelling from a different angle as opposed to what many people perceive storytelling is all about. And that is, I recently discovered in business, in social life, culture, that storytelling enhances language development and creative thinking. Language development and creative thinking. Those two importance, if I had known them 6 years ago, I would have approached storytelling from a different perspective. And I would just say that less because I'm not a major guest here. Obviously, I'm a visitor today. Over to you, Obehi, and thank you for having me. My name is Izu Samuel. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I really do. I don't know if any want to do a kind of greeting around because we are moving to the conversation now. I will then, of course, ask the people on the stage to say something. Any, do you want to greet somebody?
Somebody, another 40 people, you mean? I love Izu's point there. I think it's so. When Hannah spoke earlier, and I know I'm hogging the mic because I have the mic, so I might as well talk. When Hannah spoke earlier about our inner child, first thing I wrote down was creativity. So it's amazing that you make the same point now, Izu. I think having that creative way of thinking, coming up with different ways of telling our story, of conveying our message. It's a skill that really, we all need to learn. So those who learn them, they will learn those skills. They look more confident. They're more successful. They're more engaging. They achieve the results that they want to achieve more than those who don't. I think that creativity and language development that you mentioned, my friend, is at the heart of developing our storytelling skills. So when we learn and develop those skills, what is a better place? People understand us more. We think more clearly. We think of more and better ways to convey a message. So I love your point, my friend. Let me do my quick welcomes. Deirdre, I see you. Jennifer, welcome. So if you're not following people in the audience, follow people in the audience. I'm just following you now, Victory. Amazing Kim's here. How you doing, Kim? I'm glad you're here. Oh, Kandara. I have no idea. I probably destroyed your name. Please forgive me. Ubong, how you doing, my friend? Rick. So Mike, how you doing, Mike? Great. Always great to see you in our audience. So Manal, Dixon, Prashant, Thays, Philip, Temi Tope. I haven't destroyed your name too much. So Loretta, I see, you're just moving my screen again. Nancy, how you doing, Nancy? Nancy's a great storyteller. She's writing several books that she's actually very passionate about. So, and we'll have our first audio with Nancy on Thursday night, UK time, Wednesday, US time, EST, CST. And Amazing Stanley Green is here too. These are people with amazing stories to tell. So welcome, my friends. I appreciate you joining our room always. Thank you so much. So Michelle, I see you. Pierre, Michael, my good friend. He works for an amazing service that gives businesses visibility and customers in a different kind of way. If you want us to know what he does, connect with him and find out. Peter, great to have you in the room as always, my friend. Robin, Nkoji, Njoki. Sorry, I got the letters all backwards. Please forgive me. So Njoki, I see you, my friend. Following you now. Chinyere. So Jose, I see you too. Saima, Owuye. So there's so many people. Ekram. Oh yeah, Yemi. So Lolette, welcome, welcome, welcome. Amazing Lolette in the audience as well. Great to have you all here. So I've done my welcomes for now. Now let's go back to this and that. So give me the chance every so often over here. Otherwise, I miss people. I
It's
hate
okay,
people.
no problem, no problem. We are here for this. So from time to time, we just put the juice in. Thank you for that, Eddie. You are super. You are super. We really thank you so much for your presence. All right. So we know the topic of the day. We know also the point that we have highlighted. And now I believe that the guests here they have something to say about that. I pass the mic to Dorothy. Dorothy, say something about the topic that we have today or the point that we have listed. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. I'm a negotiations coach. I teach negotiations as far to mid-career professionals. But my story is that of an immigrant. So I came to the United States when I was 18, and now I live here last 20 years. And so, my question is, how do you you said, Obey, that you have to relate to a purpose, you have to have purpose. And my question is, do you like not talk about your experiences as you were growing up, because it doesn't relate to your audience now? And then I guess then, how do you reconcile the two things? My goal is to close the gender pay gap, do my bit to close the gender pay gap. So any advice, and I'll go on mute.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Dorothy. I think uh, any story can always work. In that the story usually, I think, from the way I use it now, you take it, you sort of launch it as it were, as a kind of a reference, then you build upon it. I think what you build upon it, or what you want your audience to understand, is actually where the key message is. It's not the story itself. I remember a couple of years ago, I was writing a lot of articles. In 2010, I gave myself a target to publish 500 articles. Of course, I didn't do all by myself. Sometimes I just commissioned some people to write for me too, because I had a lot of things to do on my hand. But of course, yeah, I was able to do that. So at one time, I was making reference to something that an event that perhaps might have happened today. But that event itself might not really be the thing, but the message you want people to get out of it. So even when you are looking at your story of your childhood experience, you growing up, I think it can work in almost all the cases, because it depends on which angle of that story do you want your audience to understand. It could be that you wanted to understand how little children growing up in the village have developed the ability to communicate. Now, can we even say that children learn how to communicate? Of course, they are communicating all the time. They are negotiating. Even little kids, as they are growing up, they're already negotiating. What is the evidence of this? Have you ever heard a child cry? Now, I have a son that is 5 years old. Sometimes he wants to watch a cartoon. Maybe the cartoon he want to watch is not the one I want him to watch, but how is he able to force me to make him watch that cartoon? He does what every child does, cry. Of course, I am the father. I don't want to see my son cry all the time. Of course, I will resist, but it get to a point I will say, okay, I will just let it be. Which means that he has been able to win me over through a strategy. He know what he wants, and he stand by that. So I believe that if we take up any story, we can get up to 360-degree angle from which we want to look at it. So I believe story can always work almost all the time.
Yes, I would like to introduce Abby, who's a friend. Hi, Abby. What do you have for us to sit today?
Hi, good Monday, and thank you, Hannah, for introducing me. Obi, Annie, for inviting me, and Izu. Hi, Izu, and Carol. First time to meet you, Dorothy too, and hi, Amebola. Abimbola, sorry. And I could see 69 listeners here right now. What about storytelling? I only encountered storytelling when I joined LinkedIn, and I said, "What is this storytelling? Why am I like a kid? I know about storytelling is only for kids." And I was like, "Oh, why is it important?" I keep on asking myself, trying to um, do self awareness, trying to study what is it, what is my purpose. Now I'm asking myself, when everybody is like Hannah's asking, what is the purpose? What do you want? What do you want other people to know about you? Why am I here? So those are things that I'm trying to ask myself, why am I here anyway? I'm a founder of Limitless Me, and with this, trying to understand what is storytelling, make me understand why am I here. So if you don't mind, I would I came up like, I understand now why is it so important to my brand, to be me as a person. I'm in healthcare. um my story is mostly from the story of my patients that I took care, where um I'm in a intensive care where my patients cannot talk for themselves. So mostly the storytelling coming from the people who cared about them, their family, and that is where I come to know my patients' stories, and some of them really inspired me. And it only occurred to me and realized during the COVID, where we lost a lot of life, and it did affect me, and I contemplate myself, why am I here? Like, why am I working this hard and I miss those people around me? I feel like I have to look back and try to examine my life as well. And they have a very good storytelling, and I don't know what is my story. And then I came up with and realized now why I am with the Limitless Me. It means I can do anything I want, even though I'm in a healthcare. I can do anything I want. How am I gonna reach the things that I want? And that is where I am here, as um trying to help everybody to create a space in the digital world where I think we are right now. And it was a bold move. I have to learn everything, and I think I am already here. That's why I'm here with you guys, trying to see, well, how can we help each other. And anybody who wants to connect with me, and we're gonna journey together. And the end product is just, I want everybody to do what they want to do in a digital space by having their own home. They call it home. And I think that's all I can do. Thanks, Annie and Obi. And I'm so glad I'm here to be able to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much for that. That is really, really great. I love that. I love that. It made me sort of think back to the famous speech by Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs was talking to this, making this commencement speech in Stanford a couple of years ago. Yeah, okay, a couple of years ago, when he was still alive, he made mention of this point that I usually make reference to in a couple of my writing, that you are not able to connect the dot as you are building it up. It is almost, it's true almost in all the cases, because you are working, you don't see yet what is going to be the end of it, but somehow you have a picture in your head, and that picture helps you to sort of set it up. You cannot tell the story yet that time because you are still setting it up. But when you have arrived at a point, you are beginning to put the pieces together. Now you see somehow as if there is a divine hand, as if there was an invisible forces that were sort of guiding you. If you are the one that believes in ancestral healing or things like that, or if you are somebody that is deep in spirituality, all this will perfectly make sense to you. And this sort of tells us that sometimes we don't need to overstruggle. Let's just flow. Let's be in the flow. When we tell the story later on, we will see how beautiful it is. We will see the lesson that people will learn from it. So thank you for the sharing. It just helped me remember that because I think it is very important. But I think we sometimes overwork ourselves trying to be perfect before we even start. And that is sort of it hurt us. All right. Carol, thank you for joining us. I really enjoy your story just now before we started. I don't know if you have something to say about what you wish you would have learned starting out as a business owner or somebody who want to understand story from the point of view of business. Is there something you wish you would have learned before now?
For me, my storytelling began from a live situation when my husband got diagnosed with prostate cancer and my journey of ill health prior to him getting diagnosed. So that's the thing that propelled me into looking at alternative protocols. And that's when I started my network marketing business. So then I started as a public speaker, sharing my story and my journey with myself and also my husband's diagnosis as well. So my conviction is the thing that propelled me to share my story about what we've been through and what I do now.
All right. Thank you so much for that. The conviction is very important. It means you truly have a kind of inner motivation for what you are doing. And that is powerful. That is really powerful. All right. I don't know, maybe if Izu want to say something to the effect of what area should small businesses improve for more efficiency in their storytelling? Because Izu is an expert in this area. That is why I've sort of directed the question to him. So Izu, what would you suggest that small businesses do to improve their efficiency in business storytelling?
Yeah, just to answer that question, Mr. Obehi, very simple. And I'd like to say this, please. Ladies and gentlemen, storytelling is very simple. Storytelling is not all about the long sentences, it's just very simple. The second thing I'm going to say is this: every business owner, whether you're young, whether you're average, whether you're old, please tell a story that communicates the value proposition of your business. I'm going to say that again. Tell a story that communicates the value proposition of your business. And the final thing I'm going to say to respond to that question is this: your story has to communicate what is called value, call to value, not call to action here, but call to value. So a very good example, was exactly what happened many years ago when the founders of TED, and by extension TEDx, wanted to establish the business of having to create a platform for people to share their ideas. And so they asked the question, what is an idea? It was at that point, this documentary is on TEDx platform, so you can go check it out. So they said that every idea is a component of value proposition, and every value proposition is a component of a solid story that communicates call to value. So if your story and your business story can communicate the call to value, the value proposition, there is nobody in this world who wouldn't want to do business with you. Izu Samuel, and back to you, Mr. Obehi.
Thank you so much for that, Izu. I know that something great was always going to come out from that. I appreciate that. All right. Before Hannah says something to the second question, because Hannah want to respond on how would you develop your storytelling strategy for small business. Before she responds, we have a guest in the room, Mosi DC.
So after what Carol shared, I just thought of something that could be, I guess, deemed as a negative. So as a healer, I work with people who are healing from their own stories of trauma. And so, what I've experienced is until you are able to see your story from a place of love, from a place that is healed, and from a place of understanding that what one goes through is important for their growth, because somebody else, your story is somebody else's answered prayer and helps to transform the fiber of society. until one is able to see how important their story is in moving and shifting society, the world, to a better place, then that story becomes one of victimhood and never around victory. So that's just the opposite that came into my mind when I heard Carol share. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. All right, Hannah, please, would you like to say something to the effect of how you would develop your storytelling strategy for your small business?
Okay, thank you so much. I have learned so much from everyone that has spoken today. The first thing that I would say for businesses, small and big, is that marketing, the generic marketing style and advertising style that we've known, is slowly going out of style if it hasn't even gone. So at this point, businesses are looking at trying a lot of stuff with, offers and discounts and trying out contents and still are getting crickets. And that is because we are now in the trend, we're now in an era of inquisitive clients. Customers are asking the questions. Customers are saying, well, why should I buy from you? And with that comes storytelling taking center stage in marketing and advertising. And that would be the first thing that I would say in a strategy. Include storytelling heavy in your marketing and advertising. Another thing that I would say is including storytelling in your content strategy mix. Because a lot of the time, the focus is on the promos, on the offers. Focus, like I said before, is on sales. Focus on including storytelling in your content mix and see the wonders that that does. Another thing that I would say is a good thing to add as a strategy is authenticity. A lot of the time, we talk about it a lot on here in this event, in other events. Be authentic, especially the one that Annie does with Donna. A wonderful event, I must say. There's so much talk about authenticity in business, yet people are still making the mistake of not being authentic in business. It's so important to speak from the heart. Let your focus as a business be connecting. The sales will come. That would be my addition today. Thank you so much, Obehi, and to everyone who has spoken.
Thank you so much for that, Hannah. I appreciate that. All right, I will call any for a reflection on the topic that we have today. But before we get there, I just want to say that uh, it is vitally important that we apply story correctly in our business because it helps us to do a couple of things. It helps you to be able to establish your authority in what you are talking about, and it helps to make your sales simpler for you. Why is that? Well, it is simple because when you connect to people at the level of emotion, you don't need to force anything anymore. It's it becomes warm, no? And when it's warm, it becomes easier for everybody. I don't want to use any word that might sort of. All right. So what I want to say is that you need to be able to connect with people at the level of emotion. That is where you need to be. Okay, at one time I did insurance sales here in Verona. So there in the training, we were taught about small talk. That when you book a call to go meet a client and talk to this individual about about life insurance, life insurance sometimes can be very difficult to say, no, because it's not visible thing. Sometimes you are telling somebody, when you start paying me money, when you die, I will give this money to your parent, to your family, to who you left behind. Well, it's not as simple as it might be. But you're going to have to sell it to them through story. So you get there usually, then you start talking to the person. You don't just go there and say, hey, I want to sell you insurance, because nobody wake up and say, hey, I want to buy this today. People don't even know that they need to buy those things. Until you knock on the door, you come in, and you start to make what they call this small talk. Hey, but how are you doing? You start to ask people, where are you coming from? Now, the resistance that the people have set up for you, because as you are coming in, maybe with a suitcase or anything, they know that you want to sell them something. But your story is going to it's going to eliminate that barrier totally, so that you now become a kind of one-on-one. You are one and the same thing, you and the person who is talking to you. Because you have so talked to them, you are so wet up the situation that it is not hard anymore. It is now difficult. Somehow, they are even the one asking you, how does it work? In that case, it becomes easier for you. But if you don't tell story, if you don't use story to connect, to make the line that stands between you and the prospect to be very thin and thin, It's going to start with the logic. But why am I going to pay all that money? That is too much for me to. I don't even think I need this and this and that and that. The objections are going to be everywhere. But if we can connect at the level of emotion, we understand deeply why we are doing these things, then it becomes easier.
I love Izu's point earlier. Nike tells a story in just three words. Just do it. That's Nike's story. That's the story they tell. Pretty much that's the story they tell every day, all day. They built a £1 billion company out of just those three words. When I say those three words, everyone in the audience knows what I mean. They know what Nike means too. What can you do that will express who you are, what you do, what you stand for, as simple as possible? That's a challenge that we will have, I think. So when I don't, when I say I've designed a get fame and leads package, that, my friends, that's my story. That's my story I want to convey to the world. I think the point was made earlier. That your story suddenly fits together. It makes sense to you after several times of trying. Now, think of writing an article. Maybe even a speech. I tend to find when I think of what I'm going to say, I'm more confused. When I write down what I'm going to say, suddenly I have more clarity. If I give myself space and time from between writing down what I'm going to say and until the day comes, I find stories and I find links, I find examples I can use. In what I want to tell people. That's almost how storytelling works. If you give yourself that space and focus to think about what you're trying to say, I put the emphasis on say, by the way, because I think marketing today is about you showing up and talking to people. That's why we do audio rooms. Now, we could easily write all this down. Who's going to read it? Some may, most may not. I think when you actually show up and tell your story with conviction, people hear you. When you can embellish that conviction, that narrative with real people, who do you serve? Who do you stand for? Who do you stand? Who do you stand beside? Who do you stand for? What do you stand for? When you can use stories, when you can say, right, Jim the other day or Kim the other day, right? I'm just using examples of people's names, so please don't take it personally, Kim or Jim, right? When you can tell stories about people like me who've used your service, it conveys instantly to the listener that you get me. It tells me instantly, yes, you know where I'm coming from. You know my issues. You can definitely add value to what I do. That's why they get the one out over here. That's when they say, okay, how can we work together? In these audio events, you have to, I do many of them, right? Some people think I'm crazy, but of course I'm not crazy, because I do what I do because sometimes people have to hear you over and over and over and over. And they say there's 12 touch points people need these days. They have to see and hear you 12 times before they decide whether they know you enough to like you enough to actually want to hear more about what you do. So that's not even you doing business with them. That's just them giving you space and time to talk to them. When you can then work out the stories that you're going to tell for, here's part one of our service. Here's how we can help you. In the beginning stage of just understanding who you are, what your business does, when you can paint a picture so that people understand, okay, they get it instantly. When you can say, right, so after the introduction, here's what we do in the middle term, and then again when they get that bit, then you can talk about how you then help in terms of results, and then what happens after that. You have to break your story down to almost like the sales funnel that we know of. When we start, we'll start here. Here's what it looks like. When we get to work, and here's what it looks like. When we get towards the end, here's what it looks like. Now, when you can sort of define those sort of stories for your business, you're much more likely to get people to understand what you do and take the action you want. I think Isa said earlier, storytelling is not about call to action; it's about call to value. Those are genius words, my friends. People price is what you pay, value is what you give. Value is what they're actually paying you for. When you can truly convey that value that you give people, then that's when your business will take off. These things we have to learn, and we'll learn these different things by learning, by acquiring knowledge. Again, I make reference to Obehi's books. There's a reason why they're there. We can all learn how to tell better stories. But then write your stories down and then practice them. Think about them. Add people who paint a picture for you. There's a saying out there somewhere. Don't tell them. Show them. With a story, you can show people what you do, who you are. If you just focus on descriptions and features, they will never get who you are. And as they get who you are, no one's going to respond and want to buy from you. That's when Hannah says the story. The world of business and marketing has changed. You truly have to, unless they know, like, and trust you, my friends, we're going nowhere. Your voice, and what you say, of course it matters, but your voice is probably the thing today that you have to use to convey who you are and what you stand for and how you do what you do. But you asked me the question, my friend. I could talk about this all day.
It's okay.
I'll keep quiet now.
Thank you so much for that. There is a lot of value that is coming out of there. So we're not even bothered. We're not worried. It's only the time. The time is is what it is. So
All right, I'm sorry, but I just joined. Thank you, everybody, for putting me here and accepting that I have a word to say. So, the power of storytelling, it goes beyond me. I don't know what other people have said, but I'm sorry, I'm just joining now. But I felt I really wanted to say something. All right. So when it comes to storytelling, it allows businesses to be able to tap into the emotional aspect of their audience. And when customers feel like a personal connection to a brand's history, they are more likely to be able to engage better, to relate better, and to also be able to remember. So this emotional resonance kind of fosters a deeper sense of loyalty and attachment, leading to constant business and word of mouth referrals. Storytelling also actually helps with memorability. Stories are more memorable than facts and figures. And so, by presenting information within a narrative framework, businesses are able to make their messages stick in people's minds. And this is especially important in a competitive market where many brands are vying for attention. Also, being able to share authentic stories, not just ordinary stories, about your origin, your values, your challenges, is able to help people to humanize the brand. I always say to people that before you're able to get into a business, make sure that it is something that you love. Don't just get into a business because you're searching for a job or you want something to do or you want to just make money. It has to be something that you love to do. And that's what I always mentor my mentees about, that you have to search within yourself, make sure that you have the passion for what you're doing. That way it becomes authentic and it becomes real. So it's not something that you're just researching to try and please your customers or your clients. So it helps you to be able to differentiate yourself as well. So in this crowded marketplace where everybody is doing what everybody is doing, storytelling is able to set you apart. Okay, is a compelling and very unique story. It gives your brand a very distinctive identity that competitors can easily replicate. They can't replicate. So that differentiation helps you to attract and retain your customers. All right. So it also helps you to inspire and be able to motivate. So stories have the power to inspire your employees and your customers. A compelling narrative that can motivate your employees is to work towards common goals and rally around that purpose. So, in summary, the power of storytelling for businesses, it lies in the ability to create a meaningful connection, foster that authenticity, build trust, and set the stage for growth. So by crafting and being able to share these narratives, businesses can not only capture the attention of their audience, but to create a lasting impact that drives the success over a long term. Thank
Thank you so
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That is really, really very impactful. I
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
so much. God bless you.
You're welcome there. All right. We have Lisa in the room. Lisa, be very brief. We are moving toward the end. Of course, we still want to hear from you. Please go ahead and share something with us. We want to hear from you.
Thank you for bringing me up. I will be brief. This has been amazing so far, and the concept of storytelling has always interested me, and especially when it comes to business. So I've read a bunch of books on it. So I came up with this an acronym because I always teach with acronyms. I just love how they kind of bring everything together. So my acronym that I have for story and how to use it in your business. So the S stands for set the stage. The first thing that you should do is to set the stage and create a compelling and relatable setting to draw your audience in. Right. For T, I have tap into emotions, evoke the emotions of your listener by creating a strong connection with your audience. Offer a hero's journey. So I always like to make the hero the customer and my product or service, which is helping them to create courses that'll be the tool that they use to become the hero in their own story. Reinforce the message. So align your story with your product or service. Like I said, make it the hero's tool that they're going to use to overcome their issues. And then why? Yield to authenticity. So many people said it. I think all the speakers touched on authenticity, and it's so important. So be authentic and genuine in your storytelling to help build that trust with your audience. So I thank you again for having this and for letting me speak. I just wanted to share that. Hope
Thank
it helps.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate your contribution. I will invite you to join us also next 2 weeks, because we are here every 2 weeks. Because we really believe that there is power in storytelling, and what we do here is taking in from different angle all the time, so that at least at the end of the day, at the end of the time that we are spending together here, learning from each other, you would have understand storytelling from different perspectives, particularly within the area of using storytelling for your business. But if you are new, you are just new to the entire jargon of storytelling, you want to know the basics, you can either pick up any of the books to read. There are 5 books in the series, Storytelling for Small Businesses and Content Creator. Or you can join also our membership. It's tagged Storytelling Mastery. And we are concentrating on business also. We want you to understand everything you need to know about storytelling or how you can use it for your business. And of course, it's just a small contribution at the end of the month, but compared to what you are going to get every now and then, that is really small. But in any case, what I'm saying is that storytelling is absolutely powerful. It is something that we need to continue to leverage in our business. It's what helps to separate us from the noise out there. Otherwise, we are going to be doing what every other person is doing, like Lisa has said. All right, today we talked about why you don't understand the power of storytelling. As we have come to near the end of the conversation, I just want to ask my co-host, my beautiful co-host, beautiful and also handsome. And you are handsome, and the other two are beautiful. All right. Yes, before Abibola was having some difficulty with audio. I believe now it's resolved. So, Abibola, what would be your final thought here, considering what we have discussed today, as to what you don't understand, or why you don't understand the power of storytelling? Please go ahead.
I believe my audience now is okay now. Can you all
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, beautiful now.
All right, thank you so much. Well, I've been listening to everyone. Though there were network glitches once or twice like that, but yes, amazing shares from everybody. And what I would like to say is that you don't know the essence of storytelling because you have not started using storytelling. When I was new here, storytelling was weird to me because seeing someone calling herself or himself a storyteller was like storytelling. Why? But I started following them and I saw the essence of using stories to convey their messages. And it's very important for every business. Like, nobody wants to be sold to. People want to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to. And one of the effective ways for you to get your product and services for people to buy is using storytelling. So you're able to connect emotionally to them. And with that, instead of the normal, because making sales, you can't make sales without storytelling. Honestly, let's be honest with ourselves. It will just be struggling. But when you make use of the tool, that effective tool called storytelling, you are able to connect, you're able to make your sales with ease. So I would just implore everybody, learn the act of storytelling. I learned it. I'm practicing more and I'm really seeing the benefit because it's working. So thank you so much for being here and everyone present. I'll yield the mic now.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. All right. So two person. Anyway, I don't know if every other person in the room would need to give a final thought. Yes, let's do that. Let's be generous. Motsidisi. All right. I don't know if I pronounce it correct this time. What is your final thought here?
That's perfect. Um, I really just wanted to say I'm so grateful that my brand strategist invited me to this platform. I have found this series to be so engaging and so informative in helping me to also being bold and brave to share my story because stories heal, stories transform, and stories help one to grow. And that's exactly what has happened in my life. And also just coming to a platform like this to just listen and hear from others. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. We love your contribution. All right. Dear Carol, it's your turn. In 60 seconds, what would you like to say to conclude the conversation? Maybe a final thought from you.
Own your story. Don't be ashamed of it. Use it to full advantage to to convey life, business, every part of you.
That point is driven home. If you don't have a story, if you're in a business, you don't have a story, it's like you don't have a face. So it is important that you have a face. Therefore, own your story. In fact, there is nobody that don't even have a story to start with. It's just because sometimes we are not we don't want to put our face out there and make the mistake. Let me use the right word. We don't want to make mistake. But guess what? You cannot be perfect until you make mistake. Mistake are good things. So that people will laugh at you. It's okay. And they say, hey, but you didn't speak very well. It's okay. You are in the process. Embrace it. It's going to be okay. So you have a story. Own it. All right? Abby, what is your final thought here?
I think I'm a book. I don't know how to write a book, but I'm a book where I flip the page where the story that I want to say in a certain situation, certain time, and a different chapter of the book will say what is supposed to be for my business, and another chapter my childhood. So I think the storyteller is for me is a book, the chapter of my life. So I just flip it open and see where I am here right now is connecting with people. What my purpose is to offer them my service. That is the chapter of my book right now. I think that's all.
And that's great. That's not simple. That is really great. Thank you so much for sharing. All right,
Thank
Nana,
you.
I know you spoke a while ago, but it's still your turn. We will still want to hear from you. What is your final thought here? Maybe something to add up to the juice that you already give us.
All right, so I believe that powerful stories have the potential to inspire people and actually motivate them. Okay, so when business are able to share their journey, their growth, their potential impact, they inspire others to align with the missions. Okay, so the whole idea of storytelling is just profound, and it creates that emotional connection and that authenticity, which I always speak about. It builds trust and establishes strong brand identity. So, through storytelling, we're able to not only capture the attention, but also to create that lasting impact that drives customer engagement, loyalty, and growth. Crafting and sharing compelling narratives that enable businesses to thrive, progress, and ultimately reach new heights of success. It's very, very, very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Nana Aqua. That is beautiful. I love that. All right, like Annie always say, and I also want to repeat it, let's connect with each other. Let's do business among each other. Let's share the money among each other. Let's share the experiences. Nobody can do it all alone in the business world. And as we are, as a people, it is important that we continue to trust ourselves. Let's connect also from the point of view of doing business, not just for the talking. If you need something, a service, content creation, and you want somebody to design your website, you want somebody to do your ad, you want somebody to do your marketing, you want somebody to do your connection. Yeah, there are a lot of people from different field of, they are expert in their area. Let's patronize them, please. Let's connect with each other and let's connect with the mindset of doing business. That is important. All right, Izu. Izu is a communication expert. What will be your final thought here related to what we have talked about today? You have 60 seconds.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Obehi. I would say this: if you do not like your story, don't discard it. If you do not know how to tell your story, don't get tired. And if your story is ambiguous, don't stay in the state of confusion. Take a walk and decide to learn. Consider telling a story as what happens in the gym. If you go to the gym, you'll build your muscles. If you go to a storytelling coach, you're going to learn how to build the tacts, the strategies, and the implementative values that will help you to tell significant stories. Great stories is not about accents. Great stories is not about how lengthy it is. Great story is all about VALUE. Help me say value. Over to you, Mr. Obehi. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for that. That cannot be overstated. The importance of value. In the marketplace, they need value. So if we add the value, the price will come. Thank you so much for the sharing. All right, Lisa. Yes. What is your 60-second conclusion here?
My conclusion is yes, value your story. I know a lot of people um, that I work with, and again, recently I have a lot of people coming to me for course creation, and a lot of people have a passion. A lot of people have something that they went through and overcame, but they don't they don't see the value in it, and that's why they don't tell it. They don't think that it's going to make a difference in other people's lives, but it is. But it is, especially we attract the people and the situations to us that we have something inside of us um that they need. So if we can, um do the work, our inner work that we need to do so that we can um accept our struggles and what we overcame, and be able to really share that with others and stop being afraid, then we will begin to make the impact that we want to make. And no one would be in this room if they didn't want to make an impact. So definitely the books that you have written help with that tremendously so that people can share their story. But it's important because that's why we're here, to benefit each other and to share what we went through. So again, thank you for having this, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. We really do. From my side and from the part of the entire team that make it possible, say thank you. And we thank all of you, of course. Yes, that is Hannah. Anna, you know I was coming for you. Right. What is your final
Yes.
thought here?
And I was waiting for it anyways, but I have enjoyed everyone's share so far. I'm going to be sharing two things. The first thing that I'll share is a common question that I have found to be really popular amongst clients that I work with, which is, I have so much stories to share. Where do I start? If that's a question that you also have, I'm going to be sharing a couple of things that could guide you. So there are different kinds of stories, and not a lot of people know that. So there are the how-to stories, there's the who am I story, there is the why are my products and services stories. I have templates available to help guide you so that you can take charge of your story and share your story authentically. Send me a message and I will send you a template. The second thing that I would be sharing is this: we are wealthy when we have stories. Each and every one of us is wealthy. Thank you so much, everyone, once again, for your wonderful shares. And thank you, Obehi, for this platform. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Bimbo. Thank you all so much. Bye. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Hannah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate, most importantly, Annie. Annie, you know, I can never thank you enough. Thank you so much for being here. What would be your final thought today in the regarding what we have talked about? Why, what you don't understand, or why you don't understand the power of storytelling?
You know, you're too kind. You know, and I'm always blushing at your grace over here for sure. Right. Before I share, give me a few seconds to do a few more before we go. That way, I've done everyone. Arthur, I see you, my friend. Judith, I see you too. Dr. Leslie, welcome. So thank you for joining us. Fabian, Garima, Miriam, Omo Wunyi, I see you too. Jean, Mahmood, all right. Takishia. Mahmood's just written a book just coming out end of August. You know, he's got an amazing story to tell. It's amazing for its impact, you know, about sexual abuse in African countries and how he's fighting to tackle that, you know, for using his youth movement. You know, right. So that's where I'm going to start mentioning people. Hopefully, I've mentioned everyone. So over here, look, you know, so many things, so many genius things have been shared today. You know, it's always a great room. It's a great way to start my Mondays. And I got a whole week of audio to do. You know, I love many of the things I've heard. I love pretty much everything I've heard today. I mean, I could talk about all of them, but I'll try not to. I think the one that really sticks in my mind, two things stick in my mind. Did you hear when Montalisi said about how her brand strategist has really affected her business and really changed her business and her storytelling?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The reason I ask that is because the best person to tell your story is your customers. You know, if you can get your customers to tell your story, they can't lie. They don't. Customers don't lie about your story. You know, they tell you the truth. Now, let me try to give you now. So, in case you're wondering, that brand strategist is Hannah. In case you're wondering, right? Just so you know, I'm saying that there's a reason why people do what they do. There's a reason why I just mentioned my friend Mahmood's book, all right? You know, I tell your stories when I know who you are, you know, in the audience, because people listen more when someone else tells your story. It resonates with them more, you know, because, you know, us just going me doesn't work. Whereas when someone else tells your stories, people actually do listen because they know it's genuine. It's from, you know, it's true. It's from the heart, it's from the experience. You know, if you can get your customers to tell your stories, you are away. You know, I think that it ties in what Nana said. You know, word of mouth is the best way to market your business these days. You know, when someone tells your stories, they're pretty much telling the world, trust me, trust this person I'm recommending to you. That's where storytelling really, really works. You know, if you want, in terms of telling your own story, my friends, practice, practice, practice. You know, storytelling doesn't happen accidentally. It does not happen because we wake up tomorrow to tell a story. You know, it happens because we're very deliberate. You know, we plan what we're going to say. Obehi knows what he's going to say in this audio room today. I bet he's written it down. So Hannah, so has Abimbola, so have I. Everyone writes, we write our stories down. But when you write it down, practice it. The more you tell the stories, the better you get at telling the stories. I think we said earlier, literally, we'll tell stories because we practice them, we learn them. We learn storytelling methods. And use your chance today. The only thing you're going to do is read Obehi's books. And you'll be better tomorrow than you are today. That's it. That's the goal of life, isn't it? I'll leave you with that over here. I could talk on, but let me give the mic so we have to leave today. That's all right.
Thank you so much, Yanni. You are so wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate also the other guests that have been present, and I appreciate my co-host. You are really fabulous. I appreciate your contribution because you see, this audio room is here because some people have been working to make it possible. So I can never thank you enough. Abimbola, Hannah, and the Mr. Annie himself. Thank you guys for the work. We appreciate it. All right, for those of you who want to leverage more the power of storytelling, I just said that we have a storytelling mastery. It's a membership that is available for you where we share with you all the tips and strategy for you to level up the power of storytelling for your business. We are specifically for business. Of course, other things might be added, but we are specifically for business. It is simple to sign up and check it out for yourself if it is something that can be good for you. If not, we also have the book available on Amazon. There are 5 books, each of them treating different areas of storytelling. Or if none of this makes sense to you, why don't come join us all the time? This is free. We're not going to charge you anything for it. And we just want you to learn, understand the value of storytelling for your business, because we believe that by understanding why storytelling is powerful and why it works, you have a lot to benefit from it. In addition, there is a free chapter of the book series which you can download for free. You can find it at obehi.ewanfoh.com/free book charter. Just pick it up, read it, and share with me what is your thought about the book, or what is your thought about my writing style. Please, let's connect. Let's connect not just for the purpose of connecting, but let's connect to do businesses. In our community, in different African diaspora community, or even the African in Africa, there is a lot of money that is moving around. We need to be benefiting from this money. Instead of, okay, I'm not like trying to preach against doing business with other people, but I'm specific about my demography. If there is somebody within your network, like for example, as we are here now, you want to design a website, you know that is somebody that is good that can do it for you, please give the person a chance. That is how we can grow. We need the money to move around us.